of Eve Ensler's The Vagina Monologues. I am honored to be working with the 10 women who said yes to me. It was fun for the last 4 months rehearsing actually every Sunday. I'm so encouraged by the commitment to themselves. They really took each monologue to themselves, to their life. And I have to say, this is my debut as a director, and I'm thrilled to spread the message of Eve Ensler and all the work that she does for women. So please, tonight, I'm going to ask you kindly to turn your phones off. There are some monologues that are very serious, and these women have worked very hard. It would be awful if we heard phones go off, so please. And also, at the end of the show, please wait for us. The cast will come out and we'll have some cake for International Women's Day. And you can also collect your silent auction prizes. So sit back, enjoy the show.
I bet you're worried.
We were worried.
We were worried about vaginas. We were worried about what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, and sometimes years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she was too busy. She didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, is a full day's work. You've got to get down there on your back in front of a mirror that's standing on its own, full-length preferred. You've got to get into the perfect position, with the perfect light, which is then shadowed somehow by the mirror and the angle you're at. You get all twisted up, you're arching your head up, killing your back. You're exhausted by then. She said she didn't have the time for that. She was busy.
So there were vagina interviews, which became vagina monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, young women, married women, lesbians, single women, college professors, actors, sex workers, African-American women, Asian-American women, Hispanic women, Caucasian women, Jewish women. Okay. At first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a little shy, but once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Well, let's start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. 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 It doesn't matter how many times you say it. It never sounds like a word you want to say. It's a totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct, darling, could you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and don't call them.
In Breakneck, New York, they call it a pussycat. A woman there said her mother used to tell her, "Don't wear panties under your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat."
In Westchester, they call it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat. There's a poochie, a poopy, a peepee,
a poopaloo, a punani, a pell, and a peach. Toady, Dee-dee, Wee-wee, Nishi, Dignity, Monkey Box.
Coochie Snorcher, Cooter, Labe, Gladys Siegelman.
Va, Wee-wee, Hotspot, Nappy Dugout.
Mongo, Mookie, a pajama, Fanny Boo, Mushmallow.
Ghoulie, a possible, Tamale, Totita, a Connie.
A Mimi in Miami.
a split knish in Philadelphia,
and a schmandy in the Bronx.
we're worried about vaginas.
We've created a map of vagina-friendly cities. Welcome, Markham. They are wild for vaginas in Pittsburgh. In fact, a woman from Pittsburgh was obsessed with about a particular word, a pejorative word used to describe the vagina. Her mission was to reconceive the word, reclaiming cunt. I call it cunt. I've reclaimed it, cunt. I really like it, cunt. Listen to it, cunt. Then, ooh, then, curvy, inviting shark skin. You, uniform, under, up, urge, ooh, then, then kun, snug letters fitting together, kun, nest, now, nexus, nice, nice, always depth, always round and uppercase, kun, a wicked, jagged electrical pulse, then, sharp, certain, tangy, texture, take, time, taste, tactile, tendrils, time, tell me, cunt, say it, tell me, cunt. All of the women were asked the following questions. If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket.
Silk stockings, mink, a pink boa.
A male tuxedo.
Jeans, something form-fitting.
Emeralds, an evening gown. Sequins.
Armani only. A tutu. See-through black underwear. A taffeta ball gown.
Something machine washable.
Purple velvet. Angora. A red bow.
Ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono.
Sweatpants, a tattoo.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away. High heels, lace, and combat boots.
Purple feathers, twigs, shells, and cotton.
A pinafore.
A bikini. A slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down.
Is that you?
Feed me.
I want.
Yum, yum.
Oh, yes. Start again.
No, over there.
Lick me.
Stay home.
Great choice.
Think again. More, please.
Embrace me.
Let's play.
Don't stop.
More.
Remember me?
Come inside. Not yet.
Oh, mama.
Yes.
Rock me.
Enter at your own risk.
Thank God.
I'm here.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Great choice.
Thank you.
Bonjour.
Too hard.
Don't give up.
Where's Brian?
That's better.
Yes, there.
A 6-year-old girl was asked, if your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
A Mets cap worn backwards in red high tops.
If it could speak, what would it say?
It would say words that start with V and T, violin and turtle examples.
What does your vagina remind you of?
A pretty dark peach, or a diamond I found from a treasure, and it's mine.
What's special about your vagina?
Somewhere deep inside, it has a really, really smart brain.
And what does your vagina smell like?
Snowflakes.
A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 were interviewed. These interviews were the most poignant, possibly because many women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. She watched herself in the shower and bath, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm, and at 72, she went to therapy, as they do in New York. And with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic. But when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. This monologue is for her, the flood.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp and clammy. You don't want to go down there, trust me. You get sick. Suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the mildew and the clamminess and everything. Ooh. Smells unbearable and gets into your clothes. There was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't that dramatic. I mean, no, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down there's for? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus. Okay. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff, and he was cute. Well, I thought so. And he was tall like me, and he asked me out on a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this, talk about down there. You just know it's there like the cellar. There are rumbles down there sometimes, and you can hear the pipes, and things get caught, little animals and things, and it gets wet. And sometimes people have to plug out the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it. It's part of the house, but you don't remember it, and you don't think about it, and you don't see it. It has to be there, though, because bedrooms would be in the basement. Oh, Andy, right, Andy. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. And we were out in his new white Chevy Bel Air. And I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seats. I have long legs. And it was smushed up against the dashboard, and I was looking at my big kneecaps when he kissed me in a surprisingly take it by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited. I got so excited, and well, there was a flop down. I couldn't control it. It was this force of passion, this river of life just came straight from down there and through my pain. It was a pee. And it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't smell anything. But Andy said, it smelled like sour milk. And it was staining his car seat. And I was a stinky, weird girl. I tried to explain to him that his kiss had caught me off guard. And that I wasn't normally like that. And I tried to clean up the flood with my dress. It was this new yellow primrose dress. And it looked so ugly with the flood on it. And he drove me home without saying another word. And when I got out of the car and closed the car door, I closed the whole store. Locked it. Never opened it for business again. I dated some after that. But the idea of flood made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have dreams. Crazy dreams. Oh, they were dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why he never did anything for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I. Burt and I. Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I, in one of those fancy restaurants like you see in Atlantic City with the chandeliers and things, and the thousands of waiters in their vests, and Burt would give me an orchid corsage, and I would pin it on my blazer. And we'd laugh, Burt and I, laughing, 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 and we'd each drink cocktail. Huge drink, fabulous drink, and we'd laugh some more. We were very happy together. And then he'd look into my eyes, and he'd pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant, and just when he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake and pigeons would fly from underneath the table. Oh, I don't know what these pigeons were doing down there, and the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me, and pour, and there would be fish inside it, and the whole restaurant would fill with my flood, and Burt, he'd be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed that I had done it again, horrified, as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the Lux, swim past us in their tuxedos and evening gowns. No, I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they've taken out just about anything connected with down there. Left out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. My doctor thought he was being funny when he said, if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. But I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway? It's highly overrated, right? I've done other things. I love the dog shows, and I sell antiques. You ask me, what would it wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign. Closed, due flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like this. It's not a person that speaks, and it stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place. a place you don't go. It's closed up underneath the house. It's down there. You happy now? You got me to talk. You got it out of me. You got an old lady talking about her down there. You feel better now? Well, you know, you're the first person I ever told about this. And I feel a little better.
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, an indication that I want it, or give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It doesn't want you to rip it off me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. Although it has been in the past, it will not hold up in the new court. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about the cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or feel or pass to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am. Before you made me cover it or tone it down, get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. My short skirt is a liberation, a flag in the women's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a summer festival in the starry dark, a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign town. My short skirt is a wild spin, a full breath, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation. But mainly, my short skirt and everything under it is mine. Mine, mine.
I have to say that to my daughter. Okay. This piece was performed for some time without any mention of birth. This was a bizarre omission, but then again, a male journalist recently asked, "What's the connection?" Eve Ensler was present for the birth of her granddaughter. She was in awe of vaginas before that moment. She's in deep worship now. This is for Eve. I was there in the room.
I was there when her vagina opened. We were all there, her mother, her husband, and I. And a nurse from the Ukraine with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber gloves as she talked casually to us, like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there in the room when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak out of her pores. And still there, after hours, when she just screamed suddenly wide, her arms striking at the electric air. I was there, and her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuck child inside, waiting to be rescued. I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and stretched her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing. And her husband sternly counting, 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder. We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes off that place. We forget the vagina. All of us. What else would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there when the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoon, and there, as her vagina became a wide, operatic mouth, singing with all its strength. First, the little head, then the gray flopping arm, and the fast-swimming body swimming quickly into our weeping arms. I was there later, when I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see her all spread, completely exposed, mutilated, swollen and torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hand, who was calmly sewing her there. I stood, and her vagina suddenly became a wide red pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice, so is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in, it can expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us, and stretch for us, and die for us, and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there in the room. I remember.
This monologue is based on interviews by Ensler with the women from the Oglala Lakota Nation on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Their stories reflect the challenges that Native women face every day, living in isolation and without resources. According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, the annual rate of rape and sexual assault among American Indian women is 3.5 times higher than any other races. Crooked, brave.
He said he wanted to go out. He said, "You stay home." And I said, "I want to go out." He goes, "You can't go out, you have a baby." And I said, "But this is our baby." I slowly walked over and I put the baby down. He must have felt my tension. He began to whimper. I looked up at my husband and he smacked me. Not a smack that turns your eyes blue. That came later. He smacked me hard, a hard domestic smack. What was that? I looked at my husband and he was smiling. He knew what his father put his mother through. He smacked me again. He was smiling. He was such a nice man. When we made love, his long dark hair got loose. He was such a beautiful man. He wanted me to go out to the dinner. I didn't want to go. And he said, "Smile and look happy." He wanted me to go out with his boss. He kicked me under the table. He said, "Smile." So I began to smile. Then he kicked me again and said, "Who are you trying to fuck? Who are you coming on to?" I stopped smiling. This went on and on. When we got out of the restaurant, he grabbed me by my hair and he dragged me down in the gutter and he pounded me into the curb. My husband. It had been snowing. My hair was all sloppy and mud. My hair felt like it was bleeding. And I ran to... I must have passed out. I must have blacked out because I don't remember. And I woke up in a hospital after 5 brain surgeries, and my hair was gone.
My head was bald. It took me 4 months to learn how to talk and how to move my hands and my arms. It took me 4 months to learn how to cook breakfast. I remember taking that egg and putting it in the frying pan with the bacon and looking at it, and it looked right. I just forgot to take it out of its shell. My head was bald. After 18 years, my husband beat me. In the morning when he was so nice again, I would get up and I would pretend like I cared so much. And I would braid his long, dark hair. And I would braid it perfectly crooked. So that when he walked down the street, his hair stuck up all crazy, like, looked so stupid. He forgot that the bruises on my face were from his hands. He was such a good man. He came home. I heard he was out all night with a woman, making love to her, and when he was on top of her and all his hair got loose, she was running her hands through his hair. He came home later that night and his hair was braided, all nice and tight and perfectly straight. So I waited, and when he passed out and he was snoring, I slowly walked over with my scissors and I grabbed his long braid and I cut it off. I put it in his hand. And when he jumped up, he said, "What the fuck? I'm going to kill you!" But I had tied his shoes together so he could run after me. I didn't go back to him for 3 years till I knew his hair had grown all back. I didn't want to have sex with him. I pretended I was asleep. I knew I was just a piece of meat, just a hole. He elbowed me, he jerked me, he pulled me up. And I remember thinking, please, just get it over with. It was soft and he was pumping and pumping and it just felt so horrible. And I remember saying, please stop, this doesn't feel good. And he said, who have you been fucking? Was he bigger than me? Did you like it? My husband grabbed me by my hair and he beat me. I remember hearing my son screaming. I remember looking across the room and seeing my son's tonsils. I remember going for my son and he said, "That's not your son. That's not your son anymore." He calls me now in the middle of the night crying. He didn't mean to batter his wife. He didn't mean to beat her. He's suicidal now. He knows what his dad did to his mother. They took our land, they took our ways, and they took our men, and we want them back.
My vagina's angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina's furious and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking of ways to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina. Spending the days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers! All this shit they're constantly trying to shove up us. Clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off and it's staying right here. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton stuffed up there. Why can't they find a way to softly lubricate the tampon? You know, because as soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it. It closes up. You've got to work with my vagina. You know, introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You've got to convince my vagina. Seduce my vagina. Engage my vagina's trust. And you can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton. Stop shoving things off me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. And don't try to decorate. Don't believe him when he tells you it smells like rose petals, when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're trying to do. Clean it up, make it smell all nice like a bathroom spray or rose garden. All those douche sprays, floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. Like all cleaned up. It's like washing fish after you've cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. Then there's all those exams. Who thought them up? There's got to be a better way to do those exams. Like, why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and, you know, crunches up when you lie down like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlights up all in there like Nancy walking against gravity? Why the Nazi still stirrer? And then the mean cold duck lips they shove inside you. What's that? My vagina is angry about those visits. Like he gets defensive weeks in advance. He won't go out of the house. And then he gets there. Don't you just hate that? Scoot down, relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove some mean cold duck lips inside it? I don't think so. Now, why can't they just find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me? You know, lay me down on some feathery cotton spread. You know, put on some nice, friendly pink or blue gloves. Rest my feet on fur-covered stirrups. And then you warm up those duck lips. I mean, work with my vagina. But no, more torture. Dry water fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong on the way. That's the worst. Thong on the way. Who thought of that? Moves around all the time, gets stuck at the back of your crusty butt. Vagina is supposed to be wide and loose, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We want to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give it pleasure. No, they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, why don't you make a nice, soft pair of cotton underwear with some French tickler built in? You know, women will be coming all day long. Coming in supermarket, coming on the subway, happy coming vaginas. They won't be able to stand it. Seeing all those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas. See, if my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothing, just there, all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped release the giant baby. He thought he would be doing more like that, but it's not. Well, now he wants to travel. He doesn't want a lot of company. He wants to read and know things and get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants my vagina. My vagina. Well, it wants everything.
As part of Eve's work to include the voices of all women who face violence, she interviewed a diverse group of transgender women. In preparation for creating this piece, her idea to transform this wide range of experiences into a Greek chorus was an elegant way to give many voices a feeling of one voice united. Punishing the feminine was an overarching theme of these interviews. And this can take many forms. Some women in the transgender community face violence from an early age because they are so feminine. For others, violence comes later because they are not feminine enough. Those who do not pass gender muster often get pushed to the fringes of society, especially the youngest and most vulnerable. Yet they stay true to their hearts despite every attempt to break their spirit. This monologue moves from childhood through adversity and into maturity, wisdom and joy of affirming who they are, women who face a difficult road just to claim. And they share in the pride of expressing femininity with all women in one voice united. They beat the girl out of my boy, or so they tried.
At 5 years old, I was putting my baby sister's diapers on. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought I would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell like my mother. Her sweet aroma lived in my hair, on my hands, in my skin. I ached to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why I was missing my bathing suit top at the beach, why I wasn't dressed like the other girls. I ached to be completed. I ached to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted, or as being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It has nothing to do with who you are, or your fear of heights. But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting
To touch,
to pet,
to hug,
to help,
to hold their hands,
for trying to fly in church like Sister Betrell,
for doing cartwheels,
crocheting socks,
for carrying purses to kindergarten.
to kick the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
They punched my lipstick mouth.
They
beat the girl out of my boy.
Or so they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Go punch him back.
I grew a full beard.
It was good I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up and drive on.
I became duller,
Jaded.
Sometimes cruel.
butch it.
Butch it.
Butch it up. Always clenched. Inaccurate. Incomplete.
I ran away from home,
From school.
From boot camp.
ran to Miami,
Greenwich Village.
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans,
I found gay people.
Wilderness lesbians.
got my first hormone shot, got permission to be myself.
To transition. To travel. To immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I would count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
The feminine is in your face. I lift my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
In my voice, practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, sing song. Men are monotone and flat. Southern accents really excellent. Jewish accents really help. Hello, my friend.
And my vagina is so much friendlier. I cherish it. It brings me joy.
The orgasms come in waves. Before, they were jerky.
I am your girl next door.
My lieutenant colonel father ending up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think of her, that she made this happen, until I came to church and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I got to be soft. I am allowed to listen. I am allowed to touch. I am able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer now.
I can wake up in the morning and put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's a loud car alarm. When I got my vagina, it was like someone had finally turned it off.
I live now in the female zone, but you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you come from someplace else. They don't like it when you mix. They killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely as he slept with a baseball bat. They beat this girl out of his head. They didn't want him dating a foreigner, even though she was pretty and she listened and was kind. They didn't want him to fall in love with ambiguity. They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
This monologue was based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man because he liked to look at it.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in the bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught that
fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from that moment on, I wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I had ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. Bob did not like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He did not have any problems or issues and was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change that I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. It turns out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they smelled, the way they tasted. But most of all, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you, he said, I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light, then he said, okay, I'm ready to see you. I'm right here, I waved, right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I said. I need to see you, he said. No need, just do it. I need to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before, I said. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it? No, it's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath. He looked, and he looked. He got breathy, and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You're so beautiful, he said. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? I said. It was like he read my palm. I saw that, he said, and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour. As if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him in my vagina. And we were gone. My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who runs the workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth, screaming, with coins spilling out. Another very skinny woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines round it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines were meant to be people or things or just your basic atoms who got lost there. I'd always thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not, for example, see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with hand mirrors. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that up until this point in time, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on an abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it, like we were there in the workshop on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. And it was rather startling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this whole other bloody complex world right under the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. And the thing that surprised me most was all the layers. Layers inside layers, opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat, legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. Ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It would hide and seek, open and close. Then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women in the workshop had had orgasms. 2 women. tentatively raised their hands. I didn't raise my hand, but I had had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They would happen in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, bicycles, the treadmill at the gym. I didn't raise my hand because although I'd had orgasms, I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was a mystical, magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, manipulative, contrived. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, is that I hadn't had a magical accidental orgasm in a very long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the workshop. And then the moment had arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop told us to take out our mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment, or maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic rising, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was in fact terrified that I did not have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those frigid, dead, shut down, dry, apricot tasting, bitter. Oh my God. I lay there, eyes closed, reaching for my spot, searching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10 and lost my gold ring with the emeralds in a lake. How I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over stones and fish and slimy stuff and bottle caps, but never my ring. The panic I'd felt, I knew I'd be punished. I should not have worn it swimming. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, I've lost my clitoris. It's gone. I shouldn't have worn it swimming. The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me. It was the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I did not have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back. I closed my eyes. I put the mirror down. I watched myself float above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the atmosphere of the Earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. I came into my own muscles and blood and cells and then slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy and I fit. I was all warm and pulsing and ready and young and alive, and then without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. Then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke open onto an ancient horizon of light and silence, which opened onto a plane of colors and music and innocence and longing, and I felt connection, calling connection. as I lay there thrashing on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny. I'm arriving as I'm beginning to leave. My vagina, me.
Bosnian women refugees are interviewed during the war in Yugoslavia. In refugee camps and centers, 20 to 70,000 women were raped in the middle of Europe as a systemic tactic of war. It was shocking to see how little people did to stop it. But then again, in Canada, each year, about 460,000 women are raped, which is another kind of war. This monologue is based on one woman's story. We do it tonight for that woman and the extraordinary women of Bosnia and Kosovo. My vagina is my village.
My vagina was green, water soft, pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet, boyfriend touching lightly with soft piece of blonde straw.
There is something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since.
My vagina was chatty. Can't wait. So much saying, words talking, can't quit trying, can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes.
Not since I dreamed there is a dead animal sunning down there with thick black fishing line. And the bad dead animal smell cannot be removed. And its throat is slit, and it bleeds through all my summer dress.
My vagina singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina home songs.
Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside me. So cold, the steel rod canceling my heart. Don't know whether they're gonna fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them. Monstrous doctors with black masks, shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom.
My vagina swimming river water, clean, spilling water over sun-baked stones, over stone clit stones over and over.
Not since I heard the skin tear and made lemon screeching sounds. Not since the piece of my vagina came up in my hand, a part of a lip. Now one side of the lip is completely gone.
My vagina, a live, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown.
Not since the soldiers took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pots. And all the crops died. And the fish.
My vagina, a live, wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now, do not visit. I live someplace else now. And I don't know where that is.
Sex workers have rich, compelling, complex relationships with their vaginas. This particular woman blows my mind. She was a sex worker, but she only did sex work with women. The woman who liked to make vaginas happy.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this. No, to the contrary. I started out as a lawyer. But then, in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It began as a mission of sorts. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women, lace and silk and leather, and I used props, whips, handcuffs, ropes, dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props, no excitement, and I hated those blue corporate suits, although I wear them now from time to time in my new line of work, and they serve quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law, no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths, but mainly there was no moaning. Well, not the kind I'm talking about anyway. I see now this was the key. Moaning was the thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I would see women in the movies making strange, orgasmic, moaning noises, and I used to laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that big, ungoverned, outrageous noises like that came out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of a mirror on a tape recorder, moaning in various keys, various tones, but whenever I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, only in my desire to be sexual. But then, when I was 10, I had to pee really badly once. On a car trip, it went on for almost an hour, and when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. But I realized right then that moans are connected with not getting what you want right away, with pushing things off. I realized that moans are best when they caught you by surprise. They come out of this hidden, mysterious place inside of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans are, in fact, that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus and then they'd lose everything. We made love. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building, and people stared at me in the elevator with contempt. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I started to feel bad about my moans. I became quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke back my moans, hold it in like a sneeze. I started getting headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when I discovered women. I discovered that most women loved my moans. But more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned, when I was responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women, and I found a place inside them, and they shocked themselves in their moaning. I made love to moaners, and I found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was a kind of surgery, a kind of delicate science, finding the exact tempo, the exact location, the home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it, off the record, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I dominated them. Sometimes I used violence, but not oppressive, dominating kind of violence, more like, don't worry, lay back, I'm going to take you someplace. Lay back and enjoy the ride kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I found the moan before things even got started, while we were just eating chicken or salad right there in the kitchen with my fingers like that. Here it is, real simple, in the kitchen, all mixed in with the balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I used props. I loved props. Sometimes I made the woman find her own moan in front of me. I wasn't fooled by the minor, more obvious moans, no. I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. See, there's the clit moan, oh, the vaginal moan, oh, the convolutive vaginal moan, oh, the almost moan, oh, the right on it moan, oh, the elegant moan, oh, the great slick moan, oh, 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 the last moan, the Jewish moan, oh my God, the African American moan, oh shit, the Irish Catholic moan, oh forgive me, oh. There's the mountaintop moan, the baby moan, the doggy moan, the uninhibited militant bisexual moan, there's the machine gun moan, the tortured Zen moan, the diva moan, the college moan. I should be studying, and finally the surprise triple orgasm moan.
You know, I wasn't planning this, but I must tell you how I found Merav, which we call M. So I needed to find someone to do Reclaiming Cunt, and this monologue she did. And I gotta just put it out there into the world and said, I really need to find somebody who's going to do this. And Merav on my Facebook said, hey, are you looking for somebody? And I didn't even know her. So she came in and she auditioned. And I jumped up and down and said, I found my cunt. I had to say that story with you. You will never forget Merav ever again. Okay, let's continue. Okay. In hundreds of interviews with homeless women over the course of 13 years, only one woman was not sexually abused as a little girl or raped as a young woman. For most of these women, home is a very scary place, the place they have fled. The shelters are ironically the first places many of them ever find safety, protection, or comfort. This is a woman's story as she told it, What wasn't in the story is the fact that this woman met another woman in a shelter and they fell in love. And through their love, they both got out of the shelter system. The little coochie snorter that could.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie snorter. I become terrified I've scratched off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of water getting in and fill me up so I explode. I put Band-Aids over my coochie to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug up there to prevent things from entering me. I wear 3 pairs of happy, hot padding cotton underpants underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home, I can't pee. My mama asks me what's wrong with my coochie snorch, and when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she yells at me and says never to let anyone touch me down there again. I try to explain that he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play in the bed, bouncing and falling, and impale my coochie snorch on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie snorch's mouth. I get taken to the hospital. They sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house and he's having a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement, trying on my new cotton white brown panties that my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man Alfred, comes up from behind and pulls my new underpants down and sticks his big, hard penis into my coochie snorcher. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but he already gets it in. My father's there then, and he has a gun. And there's a loud, horrible noise. And then there's blood all over Alfred and me. Lots of blood. I'm sure my coochie snorcher is finally falling out. Alfred is paralyzed for life. And my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. A place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs and I am traveling, going far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day she invites me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her I do not like that. Then she says she wants to show me something, and she leans over and kisses me so softly on the lips with her lips, then puts her tongue in my mouth. Wow. She asks me if I want to come over her house, and then she kisses me again, tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asks my mama if I can spend the night, and my mother's delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, but really, I can't wait. Her apartment's fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It's the 70s, the beads, the fluffy pillows, the mood lights. I decide right there I want to be a secretary like her when I grow up. She makes a vodka for herself and then asks what I want to drink. I say the same as she's drinking, and she says she doesn't think my mama would like me drinking vodka. I say she probably wouldn't like me kissing girls either, and the pretty lady makes me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I always thought bulljaggers were ugly. I say, you look great, and she says, so do you. I say, but I only have the sweat cotton brown underpants. Then she dresses me slowly in another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head, and I'm loose and ready. There's a picture over her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. As she gently and slowly lays me out on the bed, just our bodies rubbing, makes me come. Then she does everything to me in my coochie snorcher that I always thought was nasty before, and wow, I'm so hot, so wild. She says, your vagina untouched by a man smells so nice, so fresh. Wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy. What? And then the phone rings. And of course, it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm breathing so heavy, and I try to act normal when I get on the phone, and she says, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? I say, no, mama, exercising. Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around boys. And the lady tells her, trust me, there's no boys around here. Afterwards, the gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my coochie snatcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her, and she teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. In the morning, I'm worried I become a butch because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. I realize later she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snatcher and raised it into a kind of heaven.
My revolution begins in the body. It isn't waiting anymore. My revolution does not need approval or permission. It happens because it has to happen. In each neighborhood, village, city, or town, at gatherings of tribes, fellow students, women at the market, on the bus. It may be gradual and soft. It may be spontaneous and loud. It may be happening already. It may be found in your closet, your drawers, your gut, your legs, your multiplying cells, and the naked mouth of taut nipples and overflowing breasts. My revolution is swelling from the insatiable drumming between my legs. My revolution is willing to die for this. My revolution is ready to live big. My revolution is overthrowing the state of mind called patriarchy. My revolution cannot be choreographed, although it begins with a few familiar steps. My revolution is not violent, but it doesn't shy away from the dangerous edges where fierce displays of resistance tumble into something new. My revolution is in this body, in these hips atrophied by misogyny, in this jaw wired mute by hunger and atrocity. My revolution is connection, not consumption. Passion, not profit. Orgasm, not ownership. My revolution is of the earth and will come from her, for her, because of her. It understands that every time we frack or drill or burn or violate the layers of our sacredness, we violate the soul of our future. My revolution is not ashamed to press my body down on her mud floor in front of banyan, cypress, pine, Chilean, oak, chestnut, mulberry, redwood, sycamore trees, to bow shamelessly to shocking yellow birds and rose blue setting skies, heart exploding purple bougainvillea and aqua sea. My revolution gladly kisses the feet of mothers and nurses and servers and cleaners and nannies and healers and all who are life and give life. My revolution is on its knees, on my knees, to every holy thing, and to those who carry empire-made burdens in and on their heads and backs and hearts. My revolution demands abandon, expects the original, relies on troublemakers, anarchists, poets, shamans, seers, sexual explorers, tricksters, mystic travelers, tightrope walkers, and those who go too far and feel too much. My revolution shows up unexpectedly. It's not naive, but believes in miracles. Cannot be categorized, targeted, branded, or even located. Offers prophecy, not prescription. Is determined by mystery and ecstatic joy. Requires listening. Is not centralized, though we all know where we're going. It happens in stages and all at once. It happens where you live and everywhere. It understands that divisions are diversions. It requires sitting still and staring deep into my eyes. Go ahead. Love.